What can a petri dish inside a scientific lab teach us about the way that culture works in our organizations? So if you go to a scientific lab and you are interacting with a group of scientists, they'll take this petri dish and they'll start introducing different kinds of organisms into it as a way of producing a culture. And what that culture is, it's basically the growth of the organism as it begins to populate its environment. You have one type of organism and it tends to grow a certain way. However, if you introduce other types of organisms, what you'll start noticing is a very unique pattern that the organisms begin to play off of each other. They begin to create a very different type of culture from what would be grown in any other petri dish. And so these cultures begin taking a life of their own as the various dynamics of these different organisms begin to evolve and adapt for being in proximity to the other organisms that they are placed with. This is why it's so important in our organizations and in the places where we work that we understand that our cultures are living things. When we bring new people into our organization, we are bringing living organisms into a place with very particular beliefs and skills and behavioral patterns. And as these begin to play off each other, your culture internally will start evolving and the environment of your organization will begin to take on a life of its own. Now, this is going to happen whether or not you want it to. And so as a leader, what you want to do is you need to think consciously and proactively about what is the type of environment that you want to intentionally create. As Dr. Ken Robinson says, as a leader, our job is not so much command and control, it is more that of climate control. What sort of environment and what sort of climate are we filling our organization with? Because it is these behaviors, it is this environment that we are creating that will determine whether or not the culture of our organization becomes something that allows success to flourish, or whether or not it becomes something toxic that eventually people start moving away from and that actually tears down the success that you are trying to build with your organization.